Hello, everybody. Welcome to Elevating Your Life. And we're just going to have fun and be elevated one more time. It's just continual. It's just so fun. I am thrilled to share with you just an amazing, amazing woman. We have with us today Dr. Dravon James. She's an inspirational speaker, founder of the Next Step Leadership Academy, a life coach, and author of Freedom is Your Birthright. Dr. Dravon is the founder of the Next Step Leadership Academy, a company that empowers women to use everything that shows up in their lives, good, bad, or otherwise, to reach their next level of greatness. She is a transformation specialist, using her everyday peace philosophy to coach women on how to master goal attainment. She is a leader in the healthcare industry, has been for 3 decades. She's the recipient of the Secretary McDonough Coin of Recognition for her leadership effects to combat the COVID pandemic, a radio host, and so much more. Anyway, welcome, Dravon.
Thank you so much, Paula. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Yes.
So excited to have you here. Well, first off, do you want to share a little more of your background or any little snippets about, what you've gone through and what kind of brought you to where you're at and all these glorious things you're doing for others?
Yeah, I'd love to. When you were talking, I was listening to you read my bio, and I thought, well, what's the one thing that I would want to let my legacy be for people? And I think that is the transformational coach, right? Because I believe that, and I know, and I've studied and I've taught, and I know it to be true based on my life experiences and the experience of other people that I've coached, that we can have the life of our imagination, the happiest life that we ever imagined. We can do that, and we can do that right now, with no matter what the conditions are that your eyes see, that your emotions are telling you are present, right? They're factual, they're happening. And would you believe that even in the midst of that, you can transform your life? And so what I share with people that I coach, and it took me a long time to be able to share this, is because I was married for 27 years to the love of my life. And quite abruptly, that marriage developed a huge crack in it, and it dissolved into divorce. And I believed at that moment, I believed that this was happening and that I was going to be able to share it with other women to help them, not necessarily through divorce, but to know that I had a choice in that moment. I didn't know anything else except for marriage and being a happy wife, right? Mm-hmm. And that was happening. But if that wasn't enough to happen in that year, I also got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and I lost my job all in the same year. Can you imagine? And so all these things were happening. And then, of course, it takes a while to dissolve a 27-year life together into a divorce, into the final divorce. And during that time period, I had to keep affirming to myself that I was transforming, almost like a caterpillar into a butterfly. Now, mind you, someone would say, well, were you unhappy? I wasn't unhappy. I didn't know there were any problems. I didn't know I had a health problem. I didn't know I had a marriage problem. And I definitely didn't know that I had started a new job, and that position just, they didn't want to fund it anymore. So I had no idea all those things were going on in the background, but they were going on in the background, and it just happened. And all 3 of those, the trifecta of pain is what I call that, right? But I had an opportunity to say, either way, this is going to transform my life, right? but I get to choose what it means to me. And so my background, from growing up in poverty on the south side of Chicago and going on to achieve my dream of getting a doctorate degree in pharmacy and going on to be an actress that acted on HBO, everything that had happened in my life had taught me that truly, Rain falls in everyone's life, but it can produce roses if we allow it to. So transformation is the thing that I have been able to cultivate in my life, is to decide what this means to me. I've not been able to decide what's going to happen, because no one will choose a divorce, especially from the person that was the love of your life, right? You wouldn't choose an autoimmune disease. You wouldn't choose to lose your job. Those things happen, but I get to choose what it was going to mean for the rest of my life, how that event was going to help to catapult me to my next success. And that's what I do for women when I coach. That's what I teach, is how we're going to use this right here.
Yes.
It's showing up for a reason, and it's meant for you to use it. So that's what I want to share with women is, come on, we can do this, and we can do it together.
Yes. And for example, let's say you lose your job, and that can be so painful, but oh my gosh, that may open up an opportunity to find a job that means so much more to you and can be so much more fulfilling. You just don't know.
You have no, but you don't really know what anything means, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could see something, and I point to this all the time. One of my favorite entertainers was Whitney Houston. There was one person, when she passed away, it actually brought tears to my eyes. I actually cried, and and I didn't know her, but no more than anyone else did. But I knew she was beautifully talented. She had lots of money. She was beautiful to look at, and here she was, having all the things that many of us would say, oh my gosh, the cars, the fame, the fortune, the talent, and would say, this means happiness. Well, only if you say it does. Right? And then someone would look at, my grandmother called me one day, years and years ago. She's since passed away. And she called me and she said, I wanted to, out of the clear blue, she called. And it was many years ago. My daughter was like 2 years old. She's 22 now. And she said, I want to just let you know that I have had a wonderful life. And I knew something of my grandmother's struggles. And I thought to myself, how would you say that? Because this happened and this happened and this happened. Well, you live and you mature. And I thought, you've had a wonderful life if you say you have had a wonderful life. Because what you start to believe, the story that you tell yourself about what this means, whatever this is really what it is. We give all the value and meaning to things in our life. We have to really consciously make a decision that this is not going to be a stumbling block. This is a stepping stone to my next level of greatness.
And that is such a profound statement and so true. We each tell our own story. Others can tell our story, but they're not our story. We are our story, and we can tell our story and set that direction. Oh my gosh, yes.
So other people are just giving the facts, right? Remember Dragnet? Just only the facts, ma'am, right? Yes. I'm dating myself, right? But that show from way back when, right? And so other people can tell you the facts, right? Yes. This is the fact. This happened at 8 a.m. and then this happened at 10 a.m., right? Those are just the facts. But then there's some person who says, well, this is what that meant. We get to do that. That's the juicy part of the story. That's the substance part, right? Just knowing the numbers on the page means nothing until you know what the numbers relate to, right? Yes. So you could say, well, this happened. And when I discovered that this happened, well, my goodness, I made the decision that I was going to look for gratitude. I was going to dig deep and find happiness. And then this happened. And I'm sure because I had that disposition, when I was in my darkest moments, I looked for somebody else that I can help and lift up. And guess what happened? I got inspired.
You got lifted up. Right? Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we do. That's I think the most empowering part of my story. In fact, I know it is, to be able to teach people how to use everything that shows up in their life, the wanted and the unwanted, to consciously build their next level of greatness.
And we all have that, don't we? We all have our own superpower, our own amazingness. And the gift to all of us, Dravon, with you helping others to look at that and find that and help bring that out, because we all have our own superpower. And when life comes at us, we can forget that sometimes.
Absolutely. And I love I love you using a lot of buzzwords for me today, because I wrote an article, which I never published, I guess I should, called My Superpower, right? And we all have a superpower. We absolutely do. And so Socrates says, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And that means so much. I teach a lot on self-awareness. And so often we close our eyes, we end this journey, and we have never tapped into our superpower. We never put on our super cape and did those super things that we were meant to do, and that only we could do, because truly only you or me, we're like special snowflakes, right? We have this particular gift that's given to us, and we look around at us, at others, a lot of us do, we say, oh, well, there's nothing so special about me, because look, she's doing the same thing, or she's doing it better, or she's saying the same thing, or, it's okay, because your superpower will impact the people that you're supposed to impact.
Yes.
So you have to tap in. You have to tap into that superpower. You got to be aware of it. You got to be uninhibited, and realize that you're good enough is your greatness for somebody else. A lot of times I meet people, I coach women from all over, and they'll say, you know what, I'm waiting for it to be perfect. No, you're good enough is perfect for somebody else right now. And as you go, you will perfect whatever your superpower is, but you can't perfect it if you don't start.
You're right. You're right. Take those steps. Yes.
Yeah. You gotta start. So I love that. Everybody has a superpower, and maybe more than one if you really start becoming aware of yourself.
Yes. Yes. What would you say to the audience? What could be a good start for them to become more aware of their self-awareness and realize how worthy they are for so much manifestation and blessings in their life? How do we begin that?
Well, I'll tell you, becoming self-aware scares a lot of people. And the reason that is because we live or have been taught, and this is no condemnation of those who taught us, but that criticism and punishment helps us to improve. Right? You think back, and I was a mom. I mean, I still am a mom, but I was a mom of small kids, and I'm familiar with punishments and all that kind of stuff. And, we go through that phase, and we hope we've done more good than harm. But, we have this subconscious programming that says that I need to punish myself or criticize myself, and that's how I'll get better. But actually, that is untrue. Sustainable change happens when we praise ourselves to the next level. So we've got to become comfortable with seeing the things that we want to change in our behavior without doing so in a way that condemns us, right? And so that really and Louise Hay has this book called Mirror Works. And one of the things I think is so impactful is just being able to look into the mirror, look directly at our face, and say how much we love ourselves, just the way that we are. No changing necessary. Love myself, overweight, underweight, messy hair, combed hair, didn't matter. I absolutely love myself. And I go one step further when I do that exercise. I start telling myself, you know what, you amaze me. Because look at what you did in the face of this. And if we were really honest with ourselves, really, really honest, as though we were our own best friend, we do some amazing things in some very, very challenging situations, and we don't take time to praise ourselves. So I think the first step in becoming self-aware is to get comfortable with praising yourself and get comfortable with expressing gratitude towards you. That gives you a softer outlook, right? So now we change our gaze. Our gaze is softer, is more accepting, right? It changes how we interact with the world around us. We're no longer afraid of criticism because we don't see it as condemning. Now we can look at ourselves and say, oh my goodness, you did such a great job today. What I would like to see a little less of is gossip. You don't feel good when you gossip, right? I'd like to see you be a bit more courageous when you get in those situations and people are there gossiping about somebody else. It's okay. It's okay to say the scary things and say, you know what? Yeah, that may be true, but here's what I really like about that person, to balance that out and ease you off of that. Now you can correct yourself, correct ourselves, lead ourselves down the path that we want to be on, becoming the person that we want to become in a very gentle and kind and loving way. That's how we open the door up to sustainable change, sustainable improvement, sustainable progress in becoming the person that we want to become.
Oh, and just knowing that we are taking steps and we are appreciating our own self, you know, we are becoming more and more of what, let's say, our goal is or what we want to achieve. That's a beginning there, isn't it?
It is really a beginning, because this, if we were to boil everything down, the cars, the houses, the clothes, the hairdo, the shoes, all of these things that we love to do, right? These trinkets, myself included, right? We're all looking for one thing, and that's happiness,
Mhm.
right? And we're most happy when we feel like we fit in, when we're accepted, when we're loved unconditionally. Right?
Yeah.
That's when we do our best work. We're at the summit of who we can be when we feel loved, appreciated, and valued. Right?
Yes.
That's when our creativity is at peak. So give our you, and we can control that. We don't have to wait for the external world to say, "Oh, you're doing a good job." No, we say that first. We walk in that energy. We create that sort of magnetic field around us. And guess what? People come, people are attracted to us, and they love our message. They love the work that we do, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I love it. We do that for ourselves first. That's the first step into becoming the person that you want to becoming, and start living and having the things that you want to have.
Yes. Yes. And, you know, I've always said to myself, you know, all the things around us and what people see with us, but I've always said, I am not my car. I am Paula. I'm just the driver of this car. I get out and this is me, you know, it just because we can get caught up in different things and all
Yeah.
that around us, but you know,
And
we
it's
just
not to say that,
have our
it's not to
own
say you can't
unique
have nice
view.
things, right? It's you're, like you say, I'm not the car.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I've always had fun with that. Yeah, I'm not my car.
I have a video I did so many years ago, gosh, and I think it was titled that I'm not my car, right? And the same thing too is like, I'm not this body that you see. I'm this inner being,
Much
this
more. Yeah.
self that goes beyond even definition, right? Who is full of love,
Yes, that
full of
is
love.
so true. That
Right?
is so
Yeah.
true. I love
And
it.
and
I
when we
love it.
and when we find that we don't give it, it's because we're afraid.
Yeah,
We're afraid.
yeah.
We got to come out of
So,
that, because when we come
Trayvon,
out of that, the
what
good stuff
spurred
comes.
you to write Freedom is Your Birthright? Tell us a bit about that and what we can feel we're going to receive in reading that great book.
Yeah, so freedom is your birthright was the beginning of the transformation in my life, right? It was at the time point in my life when I was realizing, oh, my marriage is getting ready to end, right? And I had already, I think when I started writing that book, I had already made the transition from one job to another, and was feeling ill, but had not yet gotten diagnosed. But what I realized one day, which made me to actually start to think about writing a book and taking it seriously, that I was so sick this particular day that I was trying to prepare a meal for my family, and I had to lie down on the kitchen floor because it was cooler down there. In between, like stirring pots, I would just lie down on the floor a little bit, place my face on the cool floor, just to be able to get through this process. I couldn't stand up to finish cooking this meal, and but I was still happy, and I didn't realize that I was lying on the floor, and I was thinking to myself, okay, you're sick, you lost your job, your marriage is breaking up. Why are you so happy? And I thought about it. And I said, it is because for well over 20 years, I have been practicing what I call the principles of everyday peace. taking everything that shows up in my life and using it as a stepping stone, right? Didn't mean that things didn't hurt. Oh my gosh, my heart was broken. But I realized that I was tapping into this energy, this happy space, because of practices that I had been doing for over 20 years. And I was talking to a colleague about it, and he said to me, "You should write a book." And I thought, well, don't really want to do that. But then I just felt I had to. I said, you know what? I really do want to share this with people. I want to let people know that everything on the page doesn't have to look like you thought it would look, and you can still be happy. You can still build. You and not only still do it, you have an obligation to take what is served to you.
Yeah.
And create what you want from it. There was this story when I was a kid that my mom used to tell us, and I don't remember the name of it. I think it was called Stone Soup. I believe that was it. But in short, it was about a traveler who was traveling to all these different lands, and he was traveling by foot, and he didn't have any food. And he went to the people in the community, and he said, "Hey, I'm so hungry. Does anybody have anything? Can you bring this? Can you bring that?" And he had these stones, and he put the stones out there. But the whole point of the story was that he used whatever he had, whatever the people brought, to create a meal, right? A delicious meal that all sit down and enjoyed. And I took from that, I guess, in my life's journey, is that I will take whatever shows up, and I will use that to create the life that I want. And in that creation process, I will choose happiness as the seasoning.
Oh, I love that. Oh, oh, yes.
Right. So So that's how that book came about. It was during that time period. And I really wanted to share with people, what was going on without, going into a lot of details necessarily about me, because the book wasn't about me. It was about how to use these principles, how to use this to help you do this. Right. And realize that freedom is your birthright, but freedom isn't free. It means that you are going to have to make some sacrifices. Boy, does it feel good to have a pity party. It does. It just feels good to be able to tell your girlfriends you will not believe what is happening to me now, right? It feels good. But you have to resist that if you want to create in a space of happiness. You have to say, yeah. And you can say you will not believe what I'm going to do with what's happening to me now. That's
Because
different.
yes,
That's a
the
different tale.
stumbling blocks are stepping stones. They
Stepping
really
stones.
are. Every day and everything that happens.
Yeah.
It's just,
And so it's not about lying to ourselves. It's about acknowledging what is there and then being aware of, you said it, our superpower, and how we are going to use that event as a stepping stone. Because we've got to be able to see it, right? We're not putting our head in the sand and saying it's not happening. Oh, it's happening. But this is what it's going to mean in my life. And sometimes it takes a team to do that. And that's really what we do with the Leadership Academy, with Leaders in High Heels, is we say, hey, let's get together. Let's figure this out. Let's give you some tools and techniques and a community,
yeah,
and some accountability, right,
yes.
and alignment, so that you can hit those pivotal points, so that you can look up and say, my goodness, now you can put your hand back, grab a sister, bring her up to where you are, and this is how we move forward.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, well, with a few minutes left, I could go on for an hour with you, Dr. Dravon. Please share your website and what last few words you'd like to leave with us today.
Absolutely, Paula. My website is simply my name, drdravonjames.com. On my website, I would love it if you would click on the link to join our Facebook group called Leaders in High Heels. It's a free Facebook group, but from there, consider joining our 12-week group coaching program. It's phenomenal. We have groups starting all the time, and we meet once a week for an hour for 12 weeks. And we really work out wherever you are right now. We really work out what's your next step to get to where you want to be. And we see people make quantum leaps in their life. So I would love it if people would do that. And what I would love to leave our audience with right now is that you are enough, you have enough, and you know enough to begin your journey of happiness right now, today.
Thank you so much. And I just want to give you a heartfelt thank you for all the lives you're affecting with your love and caring and inspiration. It's just heartwarming. And I am curious, do you see yourself writing another book after this? What projects, anything new that you might have coming that you'd like to tell us about?
A book that's long overdue on forgiveness. And, I've outlined it. It's just a matter of sitting down and writing it. And, I love to write little books because I really like people to be able to finish it in one or two settings and get what they need and use it as a reference. So I promised that book in 2023. I think it's so important on how to use forgiveness, because forgiveness is a tool to be used by all superheroes. And we've already established on this show that everyone has a superpower. And so one of the tools that you have as a superhero is forgiveness. Learn how to use the magic of forgiveness. So that book is coming out.
Oh, I love that. I love that. The magic of forgiveness. And it is a magic. It is. And we have so many magics available to us, don't we? And our superpower. I love that analogy. That's so true. We all have our superpowers and our uniqueness and our beauty. And it's just so wonderful to share them with each other and connect. I'm just so grateful to have connected with you, Dravon.
Oh, Paula, and I am with you too. I'm delighted for the work that you're doing. I feel honored to be a part of your esteemed guest list. But yeah, I'm just excited for what you're doing and the lives that you're touching.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Love, hugs, and blessings. Everybody out there, love, hugs, and blessings. I am so grateful for all of you.